Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people, and we've got one for you today. Tom Chambers is the man who seemingly can do everything. I hate him. Tom, how are you?
Oh, that's very kind of you to say that. I wouldn't believe that for a second, though.
Can you stop being so smug? It does bother me. I come and see you in a show, and there you are. You can do everything. You're dancing, you're acting, you're singing. Sometimes you can be a smart ass. Do you know what I mean?
You always think someone's better than yourself, though. It's only that the professional dancers, they just pick it up so quickly. Helen, our choreographer, she shows everyone a step and they just do it in about 30 seconds, and I'm still doing it 3 days later, just going, what was that bit? It's just like learning computer code. It's very, very, if you're a seasoned professional dancer, it is amazing how quick they just do it. But I've not been dancing all the time, so it just takes a while to warm up, get it back into the system.
It's very interesting. I just came to see you a few weeks ago in White Christmas for opening night, and it was spectacular. I loved it. Most of all, I thought the orchestra was just sensational. It's huge, isn't it?
I know. It's one of those ones you look back on and you think, I can't believe we had all that. You've got 20 people in the orchestra. So the sound, I mean, it's just like being at a concert, especially in a place like the Dominion, because it's a 2,000-seater, and it used to be a cinema, I think, so there's not a bad seat in the house, and the way it's constructed, there's amazing old buildings, have such good acoustics and everything, and then they've also got all technical speakers that make it all sound amazing. So to be able to dance to an amazing orchestra. Irving Berlin, I mean, it's the golden Hollywood era of the classic White Christmas. Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, and we are we're doing our best to keep up with them. But the audiences are loving that. If you're looking to get into the Christmas spirit and this doesn't do it, then I don't think anything will.
No, absolutely. I first saw this show on Broadway about 10 years ago and fell in love with it because it is the epitome of an American Christmas, really, isn't it? It's all lovely and red, and of course we get that song 37 times through the show. I have to ask, though, how are you coping with being Mr. Christmas 700 times a week? Because this show does give you a packed schedule, doesn't it?
Yes, it certainly does. I always feel like I'm training to be an athlete because you suddenly think, well, I can't quite get away with burning the candle at both ends when you've got eight shows to do, and you just want to. Well, you realise that your body starts to need rest and good food instead of just anything you throw down your throat. It's a joy to do, though. It's absolutely. We've got 30 in the cast as well, so we've got a good frame, good support of absolutely everyone with their tap shoes and pearly white teeth.
It's amazing your career when you look at it. I mean, I know you as a West End star. I've seen you for many years in things, most recently Top Hat, which was incredible. But most people will know you, of course, probably for Strictly, Holby or Waterloo Road. It's amazing how your career can go in the direction that showbiz wants to send it.
Yeah, you never really know what's going on, what's going to happen next. So it can either be complete fear, and you just think, I need to settle down and get a proper job to get some stability. Especially when you've got, young family coming along, and I've got two children now, and Olive is only 4.5 months, and I'm just always thinking, how am I going to make the next 25 years work out when literally 12 months to 12 months, you're tax year to tax year, you don't know whether you're going to break even, go in the black or the red, and so it's a dicey game. It's just so unpredictable. I mean, I'm very lucky that things work out. You have good years and bad years, like being a farmer, really, with your harvest. But it's not that that's a very good analogy, but it is.
How are your sprouts this year? Are they coming on well?
Well, this year I've had a bumper ride to the end after a fairly standard middle. I've been lucky that I've been doing Father Brown, which is 1950s as well, and it's a G.K. Chesterton stories. So it's kind of like not a bad bone in the body type of stuff. It's good old-fashioned detective work, and that's been amazing filming in the sort of Cotswolds, and it's glorious. But it is daytime TV, so you either have to be unemployed or retired to see it, but it's well worth the watch. So I'm sort of lucky there to be able to bounce from. It's very hard to go from TV to theatre without people putting you in a box, in a pigeonhole. So I'm lucky that Holby was my first ticket into the industry after 6 years of knocking on doors. Because from then, that means I was able to, cross the line. Because thanks to Strictly, there's no way I would be getting musical theatre jobs if it wasn't for Strictly.
It's amazing when I see you live. I mean, you've sort of come from a better generation. That triple threat thing doesn't really happen anymore, where you see performers with a big personality and the ability to dance and sing and do all of that. Do you feel you've sort of been blessed with this gift of a different bygone age? Because there aren't many people like you who stick out. I always say this, I've been very lucky to see hundreds of shows, most of which I walk out of these days, because life's too short to sit through a rubbish show. That's my new theory.
Yes.
It's true, though, isn't it? Do you feel that you've sort of been given this great blessing of certainly an amazing talent, but also of a talent that nobody seems to care about anymore, which makes you excel?
I know that I was always the class clown at school, and I couldn't really understand why, or whether I was necessarily sort of doing it. I wasn't doing it to attract attention, but it was just I don't know what it was. It just always like there was that kind of like performer person, and it all happened by mistake, genuinely, because it was during a game of football in morning break, and no one had been up to the school play, and the teacher came over and said, "All of you, I want you all at 3 o'clock in the gym this afternoon," and we all like to sing Rhubarb down a microphone, over and over again to a tune. And I ended up getting the part of Dracula Spectacular in Dracula, and then there was this weird moment where on the first night there's one line that says, you either have it or you do not have it, and I happen to have it. And the audience would always fill in the gaps if I left the pause just big enough. And it was a weird feeling. I just thought, maybe I'm in the right game here. Maybe this is what I need to do. Little did I know that it would take 15 years to actually get employed work from it. I don't know. I've always loved. I was always inspired by Gene Kelly in those afternoon films. I used to stamp on the kitchen floor before I knew what tap dancing was. So it's one of those things you don't know where it comes from, where your fascination and inspiration comes from. I mean, if it had been a football, I would have been maybe practicing on the pitch for 7 hours a day, like Beckham did, top right hand corner, and all that. And you don't know how it happened. But it's a love-hate relationship as well, because there's so many musicals that I just don't seem to fit the bill. I'm not very good at being, I don't think, the modern hip sort of person. So it's like I'm part of the Cary Grant, Errol Flynn era in my blood more. I'm not. I don't think I'm as cool and trendy, you see. So it's kind of like I seem to fit the old stuff, not the old stuff, but the good old stuff. If you know what I mean.
I agree. I know exactly what you're saying, and you certainly steal this show with your 11 o'clock numbers. I mean, you do get the big dance numbers. I have 2 words for you. Aled Jones, how's he doing?
Well, I do give him a good ribbing every time he criticises my dancing.
He's in no position, is he?
I remind him that he only got to the semi-final on Strictly, and not actually the final. So, I do have to say that he sings White Christmas a lot better than I do, because I played the Bob part in White Christmas, the Bing Crosby role in Sunderland in 2009. I absolutely loved it, but I was always jealous of the bloke Adam Cooper who was dancing the Danny Kaye role still, doing all the tap dancing. And I dreaded having to sing White Christmas on my own, naked, exposed on stage, because it's such a classic. And I think
you're almost on a hide into nothing with that one, aren't you, really? It's very tough. You've got to make it your own, because if not, they're just going to say, well, it's not as good as the original.
It's not like Bing Crosby, is it? And I think he said something like, a parrot would be able to sing this or something, but it's not. It's flipping difficult.
Yeah. So
Aled is a top bloke. What I love about him, he doesn't have any ego. No toys in his pram. At least he's not shown them yet. So it's nice to work with someone on stage who's...
I don't know, another 25 matinees, you might see the old diva strop, you never know.
They're coming. They'll creep in, man.
Well, I loved it. White Christmas is on at the Dominion Theatre in London's West End. It's a good job you put it on now, really. I don't think it'd work in June. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, August bank holiday is a killer. Don't get many people looking for snow and White Christmas songs and things like that.
Not just thrown together. It's an enormous theatre as well. Just 2 questions before you go. That feeling when the pin focus hits and you've got all those dancers around you, is there anything more thrilling on that enormous stage to have all of that production around you?
It's lovely when you get it right. I'm always looking for which bits I get wrong. It's a bit like being back on Strictly, I very rarely got through a dance without making a mistake. So there weren't that many tens thrown my way. But it was, but it's like being part of the Olympic ceremony. I think that's how I would sort of.
Yeah.
When I watched the Olympic ceremony, it was such an amazing euphoria moment for the audience and for the people taking part. It sort of does feel like that every night. So it's moments in time you have to really try and be in the moment and remember them and not keep thinking about what jobs you've got to do the next day or anything like that. You just have to really celebrate it.
Congratulations, mate. You're almost sickening to the point. I'm a deeply unattractive man, ginger hair, and the way the ladies was looking at you, it must be fabulous to be you.
It's all the costumes, mate. It's nothing to do with me. If they could see me at home, it'd be a very different story, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's save it for the stage. Congratulations. Tom Chambers is the big star of White Christmas. Good to talk to you, Tom.
Thanks a lot. You too. Thanks very much.